proving something to the world, or will you turn that same energy inward and build yourself into something the world can't ignore? Focusing on yourself and staying silent is not about being arrogant. It's about being disciplined enough to understand that your growth doesn't need an audience. Too many people waste years talking about what they're going to do, announcing every plan, every move, every dream. But the truth is, the loudest talker rarely becomes the strongest finisher. Silence builds strength. Silence allows you to move without interference, to plant seeds without others stepping on the soil. When you focus on yourself, you learn the value of discipline in the shadows. The moments that shape you most are not when the spotlight is on, but when nobody sees the grind. The world claps for the victory, but they never clap for the lonely hours, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices made in silence. That's where champions are made. That's where real growth happens. When you can stay committed to the process without needing applause, you are no longer working for approval. You are working for mastery. Energy is priceless. Every second you spend trying to convince someone of your worth is a second stolen from the work that could prove it. Every ounce of effort spent responding to critics or seeking validation is effort taken away from becoming the version of you that nobody can deny. Protect your energy. Invest it where it matters most. Your craft, your character, your growth. Staying silent doesn't mean weakness. It means you are patient enough to let time be your witness. You don't have to prove yourself in the moment. Life has a way of revealing the truth. When you remain steady, when you stay locked in, when you refuse to be distracted, your results will one day make the noise you never had to. That's why patience beats proving. You don't need to tell the world what's coming. Just keep building until the world can't help but notice. Let your work speak. When you show up every day with consistency, when you deliver in silence, people will feel it long before you ever open your mouth. Results echo louder than declarations. Dreams don't come alive because of what you said you'd do. They come alive because you were consistent enough to do what others quit on. Focus creates freedom. When you stop comparing your journey to someone else's, when you stop being distracted by opinions, when you stop chasing noise, you finally give yourself the freedom to grow without limits. Focus is the shield that protects your vision from destruction. Focus is the filter that separates what deserves your time and what doesn't. So focus on yourself and stay silent. Not because the world doesn't deserve to hear your plans, but because your time is better spent building them. Not because people won't doubt you, but because you don't need their belief to win. Let your silence hold your discipline. Let your focus hold your freedom. And when the time comes, let your results speak in a voice louder than any words you could ever say. Silence builds strength because it forces you to look inward instead of outward. In a world where everybody wants to be seen, where everybody wants to prove, to show, to announce, silence becomes your advantage. When you choose to stay silent, you're not wasting time defending yourself. You're not arguing with people who don't understand you, and you're not giving your energy away to opinions that don't matter. You're saving all of that energy for the fight that actually counts, the fight with yourself. Silence forces you to deal with your own weaknesses, your own habits, your own doubts. And when you conquer those in the dark, you come out stronger than you ever imagined. Think about it. Trees don't make noise while they grow, but every day their roots go deeper, their trunks grow thicker, and their branches stretch wider. That same principle applies to you. Growth doesn't need a stage, progress doesn't need applause, and strength doesn't need approval. It's the work you put in when nobody claps for you, when nobody notices you, that builds the foundation of who you really are. Silence is not the absence of power. It is the cultivation of it. The strongest people aren't the ones talking about how tough they are. They're the ones who let their actions tell the story. They don't need to broadcast every struggle or every step. They endure, they grow, and when the time is right, their results speak louder than any words could. That's why silence builds strength, because it trains you to rely on action instead of noise, discipline instead of attention, and focus instead of validation. Discipline in the shadows is where the real battle is fought. It's not on the stage, it's not under the spotlight, and it's not in front of the crowd. It's in the quiet moments when nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering, when nobody will even know if you quit. That's the place where character is built. It's easy to perform when eyes are on you, but it takes a different level of strength to stay consistent when there's no recognition attached to it. The shadows test your intentions. Are you doing this because you love the process or only because you want the praise? The truth is the greatest victories are born out of the grind that nobody celebrates. Every rep in the gym when the lights are off, every late night study session when the world is asleep, every early morning run when your body is begging you to stay in bed. That's discipline in the shadows. It's the decision to keep going without an audience, to keep pushing without applause, to keep believing when no one else sees what you see. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. The shadows refine you. They strip away excuses, distractions, and the need for validation. They reveal whether you are committed or just interested, whether you're willing to suffer quietly for the sake of growth, or if you only move when someone is clapping for you. True discipline is proven not by what you do when it's easy, but by what you do when no one is checking, when no one will ever give you credit. And here's the beauty of it. The shadows never lie. If you put in the work there, it will show when the light finally hits you. If you skip steps, it will expose you. Discipline in the shadows is what ensures that when your moment comes, you're not just ready, you're undeniable. Energy is priceless because once it's spent, you can't get it back. You can make more money, you can regain opportunities, you can rebuild relationships, but you cannot recreate the time and energy you wasted on things that didn't matter. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of mental, emotional, and physical energy, and what you choose to do with it determines the quality of your life. Too often we give it away carelessly, arguing with people who will never understand us, chasing approval from people who don't even believe in themselves, or scrolling endlessly through distractions that steal our focus. That's energy wasted. Energy that could have been invested in your purpose, your growth, your vision. The strongest version of you will never be built if you keep pouring yourself into things that don't return anything. Protecting your energy is not selfish. It's survival. It's the discipline of saying no to negativity, no to drama, no to validation seeking, and yes to the things that actually move you forward. You don't need to fight every battle. You don't need to answer every critic. You don't need to explain yourself to every doubter. Every word, every reaction, every ounce of attention you give away is energy being withdrawn from your account. If you're not careful, you'll end up bankrupt in spirit before you ever reach your dream. When you learn to value your energy, you learn to value yourself. You begin to understand that not every invitation deserves your presence, not every argument deserves your voice, and not every distraction deserves your time. Instead, you channel that energy into becoming sharper, stronger, more consistent. The quiet hours you invest in yourself compound. The discipline you pour into your craft, your health, your mindset, all pay dividends far greater than the cheap satisfaction of proving someone wrong. Energy is priceless, so spend it like it matters. Don't waste it on people who drain you or battles that distract you. Guard it, protect it, invest it. Because the life you build tomorrow depends entirely on how you spend your energy today. Patience over proving is about trusting the process more than you trust people's opinions. Too many times we get caught up in trying to show the world how hard we're working, how much we're grinding, how worthy we are. We want them to see it, to recognize it, to clap for it. But when you spend your life trying to prove yourself to everyone else, you lose the focus and energy needed to actually build yourself. Patience is the higher road. It says, I don't need to show you right now, because when the time comes, the work I've done in silence will speak louder than anything I could say today. Proving comes from insecurity. It comes from the need to be validated, to be accepted, to be seen. Patience comes from confidence. The kind of confidence that doesn't need to announce or advertise because it knows the results will show in due time. Patience is the quiet belief that your moment will come, not because someone handed it to you, but because you refused to quit while others gave up. Proving asks for attention now. Patience builds a legacy that will last forever. The truth is, when you rush to prove yourself, you cut corners, you chase shortcuts, you take the easy win just to show somebody you're capable. But patience teaches you endurance. It teaches you how to withstand doubt, how to outlast criticism, how to keep working when no one believes. And the beauty of patience is that it never lies. If you keep showing up, if you keep putting in the work, if you keep trusting the grind, your results will eventually tell the story for you. Patience over proving means you don't have to answer every insult. You don't have to fight every doubter. You don't have to convince anyone of your worth. Your life will reveal it. Your growth will reveal it. Your results will reveal it. Patience is the ultimate proof, because when the world finally sees what you've built, there will be no denying it. Let the work speak, because words can be empty, but results cannot be denied. Anybody can talk about what they're going to do. Anybody can post about their plans, their goals, their dreams. But talk doesn't build anything. Noise doesn't move the needle. What matters is what gets done when the cameras are off, when the crowd isn't listening, when nobody is asking about your progress. That's where the truth lies. That's where the real statement is made. When you let the work speak, you don't need to beg people to believe in you. You don't need to defend yourself against critics. You don't need to prove your worth through arguments or validation. Your consistency will tell the story. Your results will silence the doubt. The beauty of letting the work speak is that it never exaggerates. It tells it exactly how it is. If you've been disciplined, the results will show. If you've been cutting corners, the results will expose it. The work keeps the receipts. Think about the people you admire most. They weren't the ones screaming for attention every step of the way. They were the ones quietly grinding until their results made so much noise that the world couldn't ignore them. That's the model. Do the work, stay consistent, and let time reveal what talk could never create. Letting the work speak also requires humility. It means you don't need to rush to the front. You don't need to broadcast every step. You don't need to compete for recognition. Instead, you compete with yourself, and you build a standard so high that eventually people notice. Not because you shouted, but because your results whispered louder than their noise. At the end of the day, promises fade, hype dies, and talk gets forgotten. But the work leaves a legacy. So don't waste time convincing people. Let your work speak, because when it does, there will be no debate, no doubt, no denial. Focus creates freedom, because when you narrow your attention on what truly matters, you cut away everything that keeps you bound. Distractions are chains. They look harmless, but they keep you tied to comparison, tied to procrastination, tied to mediocrity. The moment you choose focus, you choose to be free, free from opinions, free from noise, free from wasting your life chasing things that don't move you closer to your purpose. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or ability. They fail because they're scattered. They're trying to please everyone, chase everything, be everywhere, and in the end, they're nowhere. Focus is the discipline of saying no. No to the opportunities that don't align. No to the voices that distract. No to the comfort that keeps you average. Every no you speak through focus becomes a louder yes to the vision you're building. That's where the freedom comes in. The freedom to grow without interference. The freedom to rise without being pulled down. The freedom to walk your path without being lost in someone else's lane. Focus is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters most. It's about locking in so deeply that nothing can shake you. And the truth is, when you focus long enough, distractions lose their grip on you. The comparisons fade. The doubts quiet down. The opinions shrink. You find yourself lighter, stronger, freer. Because focus clears the path and clears your mind. Freedom doesn't come from chasing everything. It comes from pursuing the one thing with relentless clarity. When you focus, you don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to be everything. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to stay true to the mission. And when you do, the freedom you feel is unmatched because you're no longer living by chance. You're living by choice. At the end of the day, life is not about how loud you can be, how much you can prove, or how many people you can convince. It's about how much you can build in silence, how disciplined you can remain when nobody's watching, how carefully you protect your energy, how patient you are in the process, how faithfully you let your work tell the story, and how relentlessly you focus on what truly matters. Silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Discipline in the shadows is not punishment, it's preparation. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it's survival. Patience is not delay, it's proof of belief. Letting the work speak is not pride, it's truth. And focus is not restriction, it's freedom. So stop wasting time trying to be seen. Spend your time becoming undeniable. Stop chasing applause. Spend your days mastering your craft. Don't rush to prove anyone wrong. Stay patient until life proves you right. The world doesn't need your noise, it needs your results. And when your time comes, when the light finally hits you, your silence, your discipline, your patience, your focus will speak louder than any words ever could.